SUVs, you ever heard of them? The S stands for sport because they're really good at carrying hockey sticks, but also because they're fast as heck. Today we're gonna look at how ridiculously, insanely fast sport utility vehicles have gotten. So strap on your 5-point racing harnesses, all you kiddos in that third row. I'm James, this is the newly sentient monolist, and this show is called the D-List.
Big thanks to Off the Record for sponsoring this episode. Oh, what was that? You got a ticket over the holiday weekend? Well, fight it with the help of Off the Record. They connect you with a local licensed attorney to fight the ticket on your behalf. And they even offer a full refund if they're not able to either reduce or keep the ticket off your record altogether. Save money and fight the ticket today. Register now and use code DONUT and save 10% off your first ticket at offtherecord.com/donut.
Okay, so just like the trucks video that we did, this is not gonna be a list of every single SUV ever made, all right? We're gonna skip a few. But to appreciate how outrageous SUVs have become, we gotta take a trip back to the 1980s. In 1984, Jeep released the XJ Cherokee. It had a unibody instead of a body-on-frame construction like most family haulers at the time, and because of this, SUV historians consider it to be the first modern sport utility vehicle. It wasn't even known for being fast. In fact, it's slow, but I gotta put it on the monolist as a benchmark. It has a 0 to 60 time of 10.2 seconds. But guess what, guys? This isn't the last time you're gonna see a Jeep Cherokee on this list, okay? Now, a year after Jeep released the XJ, Lamborghini, yes, the tractor company that also makes supercars, gave the world a weird SUV truck tank car called the LM002, aka the Rambo Lambo. It was designed for the US military, but they never secured the contract. Always secure the contract. That's business 101. They ditched the original engine meant for the military and swapped in the same V12 from the Countach. Saddam Hussein's son had one, and it was blown up by American troops. But if it didn't blow up, it would have gone 0 to 60 in 7.7 seconds. Not fast, but fast considering it weighs 6,000 pounds. Now the LM002 was probably the most ridiculous SUV to come out of the 80s, but the 90s were about to get tubular, baby. By this point, a lot more car makers were making SUVs, and they were beginning to drizzle some sweet horse milk all over them. So, let's talk about what Mitsubishi was doing. Mitsubishi made an SUV called the Montero, except in Japan, it was called the PAJERO. PAJERO? And they decided to take their PAJERO racing at Dakar. That's the race, not the Cologne, which meant that they had to sell a road legal version for homologation. The PAJERO Evolution. It was a two-door, four-wheel drive Evo SUV with box fenders and fins on the frickin' roof. This is one of my favorite vehicles of all time. It's absolutely bonkers ass. The 6G74 got it up to 60 in 8.2 seconds. It's fast when you consider that it was designed to drive on sand dunes. Have you ever even tried to walk up a sand dune? It's hard. This next one is one of my favorites on the whole list. The Dodge Durango SP360. This was the last collaboration Carroll Shelby had with Dodge. It's a first generation Durango, i.e. the one that looks like a kangaroo's head. It's got a 5.9 liter Magnum V8 and a supercharger spitting out 360 horsepower, hence the name 360. Only 300 of them were ever made, and the 0 to 60 time for this big old kangaroo head is 6.7 seconds. Now, another Chrysler brand that used that same 5.9 liter Magnum V8 was Jeep in the 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee, aka the ZJ. People who drive these limited edition ZJs are diehard fans, and they get scooped up really quickly whenever they go on sale. It didn't have a supercharger, but still put down a respectable 6.8 second 0 to 60 time. But don't worry, this isn't the last Jeep you'll see on this list. Now, Celine is known for fooling around on them old Mustangs, but what a lot of people don't know is that they also made a souped up Ford Explorer in the 90s called the XP8. It had a body kit, carbon fiber hood, Recaro seats, and most importantly for this list, A supercharged 5-liter V8! A supercharged 5-liter V8! A supercharged 5-liter V8! A supercharged 5-liter V8. XP8 can scoot from 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds. 3 seconds faster than a stock Explorer of the same generation. Now the XP8 was fast, but even though it came at the end of the 90s, it wasn't even the fastest SUV of that decade. Now that honor, of course, goes to the GMC Typhoon, the coolest car named after a wave. This SUV version of the Cyclone with an S blew people away when it came out in the early 90s. Now it wasn't quite as fast as the Cyclone because it weighed a couple 100 pounds more, but it could still get up to 60 in 5.3 seconds. That's in 1992. That's fast as heck. Hit that like button if you think that's fast as heck. Okay, we're done with the 90s. We're in the 2000s. Cars were getting faster, and a lot of those performance-enhancing technologies started trickling down or up, depending on how you look at it, into the fastly growing SUV market. This, ladies and gentlemen, is when things start to get insane. Mercedes got the decade started off with the ML55 AMG, which went from 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. Then Infiniti came out of nowhere with the FX45, which could do 0 to 60 in 6.3 seconds on 20-inch wheels, standard. This is the 350Z of SUVs. Then BMW was like, hold my beer in a boot. Then they dropped the X5 4.8 IS, 0 to 60 in a very German 6 seconds flat. And I would like to point out that the Typhoon is still on the top of the list, just like his brother cousin, the Cyclone with an S. But it wouldn't hold the throne for very long because in 2006, this thing came out. The PP car Cayenne Turbo S. Porsche gave the world a twin-turbo V8 Cayenne that went 0 to 60 in an absolutely whopping, for the time, 5 seconds. A full second faster than anything that BMW was making at the time, and kicking the Typhoon off of the wave throne and saying, you know what? I know this used to be a wave kingdom, but now it's a pepper kingdom. I think that this is a good time to mention that while SUVs are getting faster, they're also getting more luxurious. And that means more expensive. The Cayenne Turbo S costs $112,000. Back in America, our friends over at GM were putting together a more budget-friendly SUV. An SUV that I like to call the Chevy Trailblazer. I've talked about the Chevy Trailblazer a bunch on this show, and for good reason. All right, this guy got an LS2 making almost 400 horsepower, and that was good enough to send it to 60 in 5.6 seconds. It's a half second slower than the Porsche, but it's also $75,000 cheaper. Now, it would be irresponsible of me to not mention the 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8. The 6.1 liter Hemi made 420 freaking horsepower and sent this bad boy to 60 miles per hour in a suburb shattering 4.8 seconds. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. This is not the last Jeep Cherokee on this list. Audi also entered the SUV ring in the 2000s, and by far their weirdest and coolest one yet was the V12 diesel-powered Q7. It made 500 horsepower and 738 foot-pounds of torque. And to show everyone how cool it was, Audi towed a freaking jet with it. Without the jet, it went from 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. But you know what? Mercedes was sick of not being the fastest SUV on the Mon list. Okay, they called me. They're like, "What do we need to do?" I was like, "You need to beat Jeeps." So what did they do about it? They did the AMG ML63 about it. Okay, AMG tuned the 6.3 liter V8 to 500 horsepower. This thing is the ultimate sleeper, and it can scoot to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Dear Jeep Grand Cherokee, I know you're not the last Cherokee on this list, but for now, F you. That's what they said. They literally, that was the press release. The last fast SUV from the first decade of the 2000s is made by a tuning company called GEMBALLA. They made all those crazy wide-body BMWs and Porsches in the 80s, and they also made a custom 6 Series for Saddam Hussein's son. I just did a podcast about Saddam Hussein's son's cars, so that's where a lot of my references are at. So in 2009, they decided to mess with PP cars again, and they released the Tornado 750 GTS. Huh, sounds familiar. Kind of like your brother, the Cyclone with an S. This thing is a sickening looking Porsche Cayenne Turbo with stats cranked to the max. GEMBALLA stripped 550 pounds from the stock Cayenne and bumped the horsepower up to 750. This resulted in a 0 to 60 time of 4.3 seconds. So now we're in the 2010s and things are about to get freaking stupid, okay? We're starting to see 0 to 60 times from trucks and SUVs that are similar to the supercar times from the early 90s. The Range Rover Sport Supercharged, or as I like to call it, the RRSS, put down a respectable 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds. Not bad, not record breaking, but decent. Porsche messed around with the Cayenne a little bit, got it down to 4.3 seconds. Think that's fast? You call that fast? Well, a German tuning house called G-Power put their hands on a BMW X5M in 2012 and upped it to 730 horsepower, resulting in a 0 to 60 time of 4.2 seconds. That's faster! And it's called the Typhoon. Sound familiar? Why are fast SUVs named after tornadoes and big waves? And pepper. Enter a new competitor with a simultaneously funny and terrifying name, the Bowler Nemesis. And that's also what I call my turlet. Just like the PAJERO we talked about earlier, it was made for Dakar, and its supercharged 5-liter V8 sends it to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially entered the threes. Why? I don't know. Maybe Connor needs to get to lacrosse practice faster. Why? And we're gonna stay in the threes because the Audi RS Q8, we gave one of these away with Omaze a while back. I got to drive it. It was fun. You know why it was fun? Because it does 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. I don't know why. But that wasn't good enough, okay? Because these German dudes at a tuning company called ABT, legendary Volkswagen tuner, Audis or Volkswagens, they were like,
that's not fast enough. It also does not have enough letters.
So they created the ABT RS Q8R, which can go 0 to 60, I don't know, 3.4 seconds. Why not? Let's do it. And speaking of ostentatious German tuners, you ever heard of Brabus? Yes, of course you have. Brabus has a version of the Mercedes G-Wagon, a car that has no business going fast at all. It is a shoebox. They call it the Brabus 900 Rocket Edition G63, and for only $680,000, you can bump your G-Wagon up to 900 horsepower, and you get a little red spoiler too. This thing can go 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Doesn't seem worth it. I mean, at this point, literally everyone is making fast SUVs. I'm talking Maserati Levante Trofeo, 3.5 seconds. Jaguar F-Pace SVR, 3.7 seconds. Some of you aren't gonna like this one, but I have to include the Mustang Mach-E Performance Edition. This electric pony SUV is easily the most controversial entry onto this list, but can't fight numbers, dude, because it goes 0 to 60 in a very decent 3.5 seconds. Oh yeah, you knew this was coming because I freaking told you. It's a freaking HELLCAT powered Jeep Grand Cherokee. Why not? Why? No, why not? How fast is it? 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. But this isn't the last Jeep you're gonna see on this list. It's also not the last HELLCAT because the next car is the Dodge SRT HELLCAT Durango. Basically a scarier, more muscular version of the Trackhawk, and it goes 0 to 60 in an absolutely pointless 3.4 seconds. What are you gonna freaking go to Home Depot so fast for? And we're still not done! Alfa Romeo, Stelvio Quattrofoglio. No, it's not just a pasta. 3.2 seconds. What? Big bags busting out a Bentley Yagas, 3.1 seconds. Why? And speaking of cars that Cardi B owns, Lamborghini Machine Urus. The 4-liter twin-turbo V8 propels this bull up to 60 in, I don't know, numbers aren't real, 3 seconds flat. Why? Now this is the last SUV we have in 3-second range. So put on your helmet, because things are about to get kooky. Because you know what comes after 3? 2. The first SUV to break into the 2-second tier is the 2020 Tesla Model X P90D with a 2.7 second 0 to 60 time. I've driven one of these, it's otherworldly. Tesla says that the new Model X Plaid Edition will do 2.5 seconds, but until Elon can actually prove it, I'm saying 2.7. Although the Model S Plaid is now like the fastest car in the world, so what's the point of even doing any of this anymore? Who cares? Now our next fastest SUV is made by a Bay Area tuning shop called Car Tunes with a K and a Z. Now they took a boring old Lamborghini Urus and added about 100 more horsepower, resulting in a 0 to 60 time of 2.7 seconds, tying the Model S, but I'm gonna say, hey, shake your hand because it makes grumble noises. Now guys, if you saw the truck episode, you knew this was coming. There's something that we gotta talk about. And that thing is not only my favorite drink, but a company that makes very fast cars. I'm talking Hennessy. Hennessy offers a few ridiculously fast SUVs. They got a Suburban, they got a Tahoe, they got a Yukon, they got a Durango, they got a 600 horsepower Lincoln Navigator. They even have an SUV version of the Raptor, but the #1 fastest SUV offered by Hennessy and also the #1 fastest SUV in the world as of the date of shooting this, June 24th, 2021, is the Hennessy HPE 1000. So this thing is 1,000 horsepower, HELLCAT powered Jeep-Tran Cherokee Trackhawk. And as the name suggests, it's got a lot of horsepower, 1,012 to be exact. Hennessy upgraded and machined a bunch of performance parts for the already insane HELLCAT engine, like an upgraded supercharger, headers, injectors. All of those upgrades result in a totally unnecessary, mind-boggling 0 to 60 time of 2.6 seconds. Why though? Huh? What? Why? Like, what are we doing, guys? And that is the last Jeep that you're gonna see on this list. For now. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. It really helps us out. You guys ask us about our cars a lot. And if you want to learn more about some of them, check out this week's video on the Donut Underground. That's where we post a lot of stuff that really doesn't make sense to go on the main channel. To learn more about that, hit the join button down below, or I'll also put a link in the description. I mean, guys, I love you. They all stuck.